typical protocol that we normally have to go through. It was done through a petition, and I can talk more, about that a little bit later in the show. But basically, so I've been here. I've had I've gotten into TV and radio. That just kind of happened. You come here with a certain goal to do certain things, and then the ancestors said, "Yeah, we'll get around to that, but this is what we want you to do now." And so that's what happened. I came up with the African Culture and Wellness Festival in 2009. It was the concept, and then we had the first festival in 2012. So the reason why I got into the media, one, is because I had a lot of clients that just don't know what to do when it comes down to having a plant-based diet and making these changes that they need to make in order to be able to heal. And so, one, I felt we had to come up with, some classes. And then also the TV was for so I can do kind of like a trade-off so I don't have to pay for advertisement for my event. I did like a trade-off so I could give them some TV content. Let Your Food Be Your Medicine was pretty much the segment. And we used food therapy. And they're different recipes. We have the Vegan All-Stars is basically different chefs that have some of the best tasting vegan food, and they have, books, cookbooks, or they do classes, or they have restaurants or catering services or what have you. And we just kind of came together here on the grounds and said, okay, let's do this as part of the year-round program for the festival. And then, the cook will come on to do a demonstration of the food, and I would sit on the sofa with the host and talk about all the ingredients and the healing effects of it. And so we had one show, then two shows. By the third show, it was like, this is it. This is a good synergy. Everybody, the producer got the biggest kudos from his bosses and his coworkers. And we were live for about, 14 months every Saturday morning on the #1 morning show in Ghana. And I think I was the only Black American or only diasporan on TV at that time, definitely in reference to health and wellness. And because there's other people here that could have did the same thing, but, it's like, I know it was a struggle to convince them because, of the language barrier. Really the accent is English speaking here, but really the accent. But at the same time, I'm coming from a place where, this is what I live. This is what I, believe in. And I know my stuff. So y'all got to let me on because I got something to say.
That's right.
I can help. I can help, So I was able to get that going, and then I got a plane flying over. And then also there was another station, GTV, which is Ghana's first and biggest TV station in all the regions. They, because I was always bugging the Ministry of Health department here, is always in their face trying to get endorsements, trying to get support, trying to, get them to come on board with what we're doing for the festival and just different, the Vegetarian Association that's here in Ghana. I was just involved in a lot. So I was just always in their face. So one day someone called from GTV and said, we need someone to come talk on the benefits of fruits and vegetables. And so immedately my name came to mind because I was the only one on their mind. I was there so much. I think everybody knew me. They knew as soon as I pull in, they had a parking space. They just go ahead and say, "Go park right here, Dr. Sharita." Because it's just like okay. And the director, every time he see me coming, was just like, tell her I'm not here. Just tell her I'm not around. I said, "Oh no, I see you, director. I see you."
I tell you,
I need to talk to
you. God works in spiritual ways. God works in spiritual ways, I tell you.
Yes. So it's been, it's been just like you said. It's a lot of different things that I've taken on here and been able to progress a lot. We have our product, New Body Products, which has been around since 1976. And Dr. Paul Goss, my father, is the founder. And we have over 130 products, herbal products on the line. And so we've been doing that here in Ghana as well. And so, and then I'm also just now getting into sort of farming, cashew in particular. We're looking at doing hemp. And I'm also working with a women's farmers association to help get them certain products to the market throughout Africa as well as to the U.S. and Europe. And so that's kind of like my new project, because food is the new currency. Food is the currency, always has been. But it's something that we have to have control over. And because, there's a lot going on here with agriculture and GMO and things like that, I thought it would be very important for me to jump on board of that, because, food is, a big part of my life, and food therapy is a big part of my life. So we have to make sure that we don't end up with the same problems that we have in America due to having genetically modified foods.
Yes, it is a problem. It is a catastrophe to our people. So we've talked about repatriation, you leaving the States and living in Africa now. What were some of the challenges that you faced early on that you now look back at and say, wow?
That's a good question, because I guess I've been here so long, I've just gotten immune to a lot of things. But I would say the biggest challenge is when it came down to people and them being straightforward with things, because people will tell you one thing and then do totally something else, or people will just, kind of just lie to your face. Like, for example, buying land, or, just different things, maybe making purchases, for certain things, and people overcharging, or, just people just even in just friendship and dating and things like that, people just not being, I just never
transparent.
Yeah, not being transparent, and I just never been lied to like that. And I'm from the hood, so it's just kind of like, I don't know. That was one of the things where it was like, okay, wait a minute, I got to get my head around this piece, because this is not, I didn't come here for that, and I have to figure out, what, why. And then, my father always said that, African people as a whole, all around the world, we are ill because we have been oppressed for so long, so we have to be patient with each other and have an understanding that if you know somebody is ill, then you're going to deal with them in a different way, as if you felt like they were. So basically, I met a brother a few years ago, and he, I told him he should have been at the airport when I first arrived, because he would have made everything clear for me, and I would have been able to deal with things with a different approach. So I asked them, I said, one of the things that people have a hard time with is people just not being straightforward and the lying. It's too much, And he's like, well, you got to understand, the colonial master kind of trained us to be this way. And he said that when the colonial master taught you to tell people what they want to hear and not necessarily the truth. And so when he said that, I lived in Atlanta for 20 years before coming, from LA to Atlanta for 20 years before coming to Ghana. And when he said that, living in the South, I totally understood where he was coming from, because in the South, you still have people, older people, who won't look a white man directly in his face when he's speaking to him, and won't be, straightforward. In other words, you see Mr. Charlie, and Mr. Charlie says, hey, Joe, how you doing today? Oh, everything is fine, Mr. Charlie. Everything is, wonderful, Mr. Charlie. And knowing that Mr. Charlie's house is burning down, you're not going to say, oh, well, your house is burning down. You're just going to act like everything is wonderful and everything is good because you don't want to tell Mr. Charlie that his house is burning down, because Mr. Charlie might think that you're the one that's responsible for his house burning down. So you just tell him what he want to hear, and it's more like a survival tool, a survival mechanism. And so when it was explained to me in this way, I was like, okay, all right, now I can understand. But by this time, I was more trying to get a better explanation to give the people when they come in and say something to me. I had already gotten to the point where I know how to read when somebody's telling me something straight, or know how to ask questions in 5 different angles to be able to get, the truth. So now I'm used to it. So I can see when and when I ask somebody a question, they say, oh, yes. I'm like, no, let me ask again. And then I ask another way, and if I can say anything in the language, and I try to, throw that in there as well. And then I'm able to get to what I need to get to. So it's not so much of a malice intent. It's just more of a survival mechanism. And that's one of the things I think that is very important for people to understand when they're coming here, because when you say something about your mama, like, oh, somebody's asking you maybe some money. Oh, I need some money because, my mother, has passed away, and me and my brother here, we're hungry, and we need this, that, and the other. And then next thing you know, you see their mama pounding fufu in the house. And it's like,
oh, wow.
Us in the States, we would never put nothing like that on our mom. Or
no, we don't.
Certain lies we just wouldn't tell. It's not that we don't lie, because of course we do. But it's just certain things that we just would not lie about, or we wouldn't do things a certain way, So,
sure.
So that's I think that was the biggest challenge, is getting around that. And I was able, just like I explained to you, it's just a matter of, it's like when you're talking to, I have 6 children, so whenever somebody gets in trouble in the house, it's like, okay, who did it? And then you have the extra child, the 7th child. I don't know. That's the 7th child. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Don't live here.
Right. Exactly. So you have to kind of, look them in the eye and ask them questions a certain way, and make certain threats, or what have you, and then eventually you'll get to who's the culprit. So it's kind of like that. So I would say that was my biggest challenge and still my biggest irritation, but it's all part of the pros and cons, of living here in the motherland.
Sure. So let's talk about land. Let's talk about land ownership. There's a misnomer that land is free in Africa. So we're going to clarify that right now for everyone around the world, and those of us that are in the diaspora. Land is not free in Africa. So let's talk about that.
Well, nothing in life is free. Nothing in life is free,
sure.
If you want to look at it like that. But we do have some lands here that have been allocated to diasporans. In particular, last year, during the year of return, there was a chief. I can't think of his name right now. I think it's Chief Quabna, but he's in the Cape Coast area and been a chief for a very long time. So he allocated 5,000 acres just to diasporans. They did a big news conference about it. It's been sent on social media all over America, and different people are being interviewed in reference to it. So it is free land. Basically, you're getting, I believe it's a 70 by 100 plot. There is some sort of processing fee. I think it's less than a couple of $100. And then you get the land, and anybody that's 18 or older within the family can get a plot. And basically, you have to build to what they call lintel level or roof level within 2 to 3 years. And then, so that's pretty much the free land that's available now. And there's some other people who kind of allocated, some places in Kumasi, Ashanti area.
Sure.
And a few other
so
places.
Let's talk about
and
that.
Then we have some very cheap land as well.
All right, so let's talk about that for the record now. So we said that there is no free land because there is a processing fee. So you're paying something for the land, right? So you're paying to get the land registered, you're paying the processing fees,